You are welcome to the episode of this podcast, Mike Uncensored. My name is Aziz Ayanshala. I have in the studio with me Alhaja Fodhila Omotunde Balogun. She is the Executive Director, Channel for Widow Relief Initiative. Today, on this episode, she has a lot to say about widows, their plights. I can tell you that you have a lot to learn about widows' plight in Nigeria. Just sit down and relax. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you very much.
Please, ma, can you introduce yourself?
Right, as you have earlier introduced me, I still remain Alhaja Fodhila Omotunde Balogun, the Executive Director at Channel for Widow Relief Initiative, Akpata, Abeokuta Road, Ibadan.
Thank you, ma'am. What is Channel for Widow Relief Initiative all about?
Channel for Widow Relief Initiative, as it connotes, is a route we are channeling the care for the less privileged widows and their children orphan who have been stigmatized, who have been denied after their husband death. This set of women, we have them in numerous number in our society, but the society they belong, the family they belong, have denied them the right for survival, and this is very unfortunate. So this is where I myself, being a widow, have to come in as operator of a caregiver in order to, through my own experience as a widow, to enlighten them through our various programs, to empower them through my own experience, that if a woman is living without a means of sustainability, she's going to be a burden to herself. She's going to be a burden to her children. She's going to be a burden to the community she belongs. And we have to have knowledge about how to approach this stage of widowhood. From my own personal experience, I used to say it, that it is true I found myself being a widow, but that God, in His infinite mercy, has guided me, has prepared me for this status before I actually came into it.
Alhaja, please, ma. I can see that from your explanation so far, a word kept coming up. My experience. Can you please share your experience with us? But before we go into your experience, we want our viewers to know you, your academic background, where did you grow up before you now got married? Then we can now talk about that experience.
Thank you. I was born into a very committed and highly religious Islamic background. My late father was the chief imam of my hometown. I am from Ekiti State, but I have a paternal relationship with the Kwara State. Coincidentally, I got married to another noble Muslim family. So coming together of these two young, committed Muslims will share our lives using Islamic culture in the cultivation of our lives. My husband was very prospective. He wanted us to marry when he was around 30. when I am not yet ready for marriage, after finishing with my grade 2 teachings school examination, he insisted that I should not worry, that he will support me after marriage to further my education. Because of the love and trust I had in him, I succumbed and we got married. Then we started immediately to rear children. After the second child, it was my husband who reminded me that he wants to fulfill his promise on me, that I have to further my education. So we work on it. I got admission into a college of education, where I finished with a teacher's certificate. And luckily then, there were not this problem of employment. I was employed because I was already an employer in the teaching service as a grade 2 teacher. So I even went on study leave. And one funny thing about our own time is that education was easier. This grade 2 thing I went to, we want to give the glory to Almighty Allah and our leaders then, like Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who introduced this universal free primary.
Which year are you talking about?
That's around 1975, 76.
Wow. Okay.
So I finished my grade 2 teaching service. We were even being given stipend as a student there.
Wow.
So when I gained admission into the College of Education, it was on study leave.
Which school is that now?
And that was a College of Oyo State College of Education.
Okay.
Ilesha.
Okay.
Though the money will not be paid on monthly basis,
okay,
but it will be piled up, maybe 3 months or so. Then we are paid.
And the government will pay.
Government will pay. Wow. I was so lucky then. I was reading home economics.
Okay.
So even most of the equipment I needed to carry out my practicals.
Okay.
I used the money I got from the study leave with pay to equip myself with all those things. Till date, I still have most of those equipment in my store. So I give glory to Almighty Allah for the mercy He has on this nation. Then that economy was being managed in a better way. After my second child, though it was not easy, keeping children at home with a husband to go for further studies. But that's exactly what I did. And because it was an understanding between me and my husband, it really made it easy for us. But I have to sacrifice. I have to combine efforts. I have to go to school and ensure that I pass all my exam, do my assignment, and do everything humanly possible. Then I still come back home every 2 weeks to look after my home. Clean when I come home for the weekend, Friday to Monday morning, it is period of hard work. I have to keep hook and corner of my home clean and tidy. Ensure the cleanliness of my children's clothing. Make sure we have food stuff. My husband was a very responsible somebody that he will keep the home front in peace. He will hire these Ghanaian people who are teaching them to do coaching for our children. He never leave the gap. How I wish the modern husbands take this huge. So that is how I finish up with my NCE. On completion of my NCE, I was eager. So there was an advert for a BS degree in food and nutrition from University of Zaria. Without my husband's knowledge, I don't know why I did not seek for his opinion.
Okay.
I just put in.
Okay.
And the admission just came up in the New Nigeria paper then.
Wow.
We were 6 that were admitted in, I think, 1984.
Okay.
So that were admitted to come and read BSc Home Economics.
Okay.
Today, if I look back, if I had taken that opportunity that my husband did not prevented it, maybe I would have become something bigger in education field that I could have taken up. I could have graduated with a BSc, longest since around 1988.
Okay.
But unfortunately, my husband bent his knee down.
Okay.
That you can't have your way on that. Reason.
Okay.
You have made me a nanny for 3 years to look after the children.
Wow.
And you can bear with me that I keep your home front for you. So you are now enjoying staying away from that home. Don't you know our children are getting older and they need our support?
Wow.
When I was trying to make an excuse for if I should have an additional education, that was what I've been longing for.
Okay.
Before you said we should get married. I said, if that is the case, so the moment you step out, I will take another wife. I cannot continue to be a nanny. My common sense just was awake. I said, human being, we are jealous. I don't want my husband to quickly get another wife.
Wow, yeah.
So that was how I lost the admission. My name was number 6. I cannot forget that position in the newspaper, the New Nigeria paper in that year.
Okay.
So he said, don't worry. I'm still with you, but let's be patient with these children. And what my husband was saying there, it is now that every step we took in life, he was saying the truth. Allah is wise to have created human being with 2 parents. No one parent can be successful. We are not talking about the cases of his chosen one, like our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who did not have a father and he sustained the period. And later, he lost even the mother and became a perfect orphan. And God still sustained him to be the best in humanity. So we are not like them. We are not perfect. So my husband knew he was not perfect. He cannot on his own raise a child. And this is part of what is bringing a lot of miscreants, undisciplined children into our society. When children are not overlooked or supervised by the 2 sides. When the father is making provision in his own right, the mother should keep the home front, which is now lacking. In these days, most mothers, they are out looking for money, searching for money for sustenance. Even some of them are not even rushing to sustain the family. They want to be recognized in the public because of their affluence. So this is not should be the case. The home front should come first. And so, much later, my husband now opened the chapter. I saw another advert for a sandwich course in, he mentioned the university, whether I would like to go and further my degree education. All along, I had the ambition that I want to have my degree, but I'm not getting younger. So I said, if that is the case, I'm very sorry. When I was leaving the NC college, it was then, I already had 2 children before I went. In the final year, I conceived for another child.
Okay.
So by the time I was out of the school, I delivered the third child after the NC when I was doing my National Youth Service Corps. Because then we were doing National Youth Service Corps after
as an NC graduate.
NC graduate.
Okay.
So making 3.
Okay.
So after then, my husband is just, he was so wise. He will keep the home front tight. He had a good job. He will look after us before anything.
Wow.
Even if he has his own private other things doing, he will not allow it to tamper with the development of his home.
So ma, there's something is popping in my mind that why can't, you hire a nanny then?
We had.
Okay.
We used to have to go to the school.
Exactly, to go to the, instead of having to
he doesn't trust the hand of nanny in bringing up his children. Today, many parents, they hire a nanny. Nanny can never be a mother. What a mother connotes in the recent is a mother. Somebody who is caring, to whom a child will look up to, render the necessary support, be affectionate. All these things are now missing in our society.
Okay.
And that is why you have many of our youth growing with this nonchalant behavior. They don't even have love for their parents. They are nonchalant. So, what you give out gets back to you.
Yeah.
So what you give to your children will definitely come back to you.
Okay, ma.
The child that to have all the patience to give the caring, the nursing. Let me tell you, during our old time, our salary was so small. So small. But my husband have never seen a day if he travels out. He will ensure the box. He will put all the children's clothing before the next summer.
Wow.
Bring everything home to me. Because he is in a position that he can travel and come back. As a teacher, we see many of my mates buy on credit until the end of month. Our own home was never like that. So I was comfortable with him. He has his official car who carries us with driver and everything. So we were on
everything was going on perfectly. So perfectly. What now happened?
No, I still gain admission.
That's good.
Continue with my education. So this is where I always give him that credit. At the start, when he was around 30 and I was just 25, that he wanted us to go into marriage. Like I was saying, I want to complete my education, and he promised me that when we marry, how many men of these days do fulfill their promises at the initial stage? So when I put all these things together, I always give back to God, alhamdulillah, for his life, because he has spent it well with us. So in year 2003, he was on a mission, on his career mission to Zaria, where they had a meeting. After the meeting, that he went back to his hotel. The meeting was supposed to come up again the third day, but unfortunately, something happened over the night. And he was slumped in his room. And the people in the hotel were wondering what could have happened. So when they forced the door open, they saw him on the floor trying to raise alarm. Don't make out. So from there, he was brought back to Ibadan in a chartered plane to the UCH. So exactly 2 months after that day, we lost him. So that is how we lost our breadwinner. My life support, my chosen person who have been behind whatever I was or I am today. But alhamdulillah, for the life we have spent together. So I always give glory to the holy name of God. Because whether we want it or not, we are going to die. Every human being will one day taste of death. God does not recommend any time. It can come early, it can come later. His has come at the middle age. I lost him at the age of 56.
And you got married
At 30.
at what, 30? That's about 26 years of marriage. Okay.
So and I was just 50, 51 then.
Yeah.
So and we already had 4 children.
4 children.
So this is where I face the life of my own
As a single
parent.
Or as a widow.
As a widow.
Okay. So
I had, and before he died, I already had a shop.
Okay.
Where I sell food stuff at the trans shop that is facing Bodija market, because then we were in Bodija.
Okay.
So I was in that shop. I sell rice in bag, beans. After school, I moved there. So that gave me the opportunity to be financially viable, to be able to cater for myself and the children. So that is how far the whole thing has started.
So emotional. I want us to look at the emotional aspect from what you have narrated now. You had a near perfect marriage. Your husband was there for you.
Yeah.
I mean, someone like that, he will still make himself available to make sure that he took care of his children.
Yes.
He didn't want nanny to, be the one now to like cater for the children.
Yeah.
He wanted both of you. Now, and all of a sudden, after 2 months, and the person just
left us.
Left. So, from the psychological and emotional aspect, how did you come out of that trauma?
One thing about me is that, like I said earlier, I come from a very strong religious family.
Okay.
Likewise, my husband.
Okay.
I lost my own father even when I was 10 years old. And coincidentally, our fathers are friends.
Okay.
So my father-in-law used to pamper me like a son daughter. And unfortunately, my father-in-law should be around 85 when he lost his son. This is a very pathetic thing, because Alhaji was a very pious man. He was loved by immediate family, the community, and even in the midst of Muslim near and far. A staunch and sorrowing man. So when he lost his son, his son, my husband, is just like when somebody says you lost your eye. That was the position my husband was to his son. And he loves his father too much that he always wants to obey what his father feel is right. He has helped him, the father, in many ways to take good care of his other sibling. He never disappointed his father in any way. And the love this father has for his son, right from the word go, and because of his relationship with my father, he loved me so much. So after the demise of my husband, he now paid more attention to myself and my children. I remember when he invited us home, he now called a meeting of all his children. He was instructing them, when your brother was alive, he has helped each and every one of you.
Mm.
Now is gone. He has left a hole in my heart.
Mm.
Please help me to fill this hole by helping him to supervise his family.
Mm.
You know, in our society, this kind of thing does not happen.
Mm.
It will only happen where you have a highly pious person who fears Allah.
Mm.
He never in any way demanded for anything from the little thing his son left behind.
Mm.
Because my children, is only one of them who has graduated. So the baby was still in the secondary school.
Okay.
So this is how I face life. But one thing about me is that I have fallen in love with the service of Allah. I have my education, and I have my Islamic education. I read the Quran. I did Wolimo.
Wow.
So Alhamdulillah, I have the fear of Allah in me.
So spiritually, you are fortified.
Spiritually, I am fortified.
Okay.
And I belong to Strong Asalatu group.
Okay.
Where I am nourished with spiritual diets all the time. And how many times have any of my mates fallen into this victim that I will be in position to sermonize, that you have to accept what God has brought in your way.
Not knowing that
it will be my turn one day. And definitely it was in my turn. So I have no other reason than to strengthen myself up. You have been preaching to people to strengthen up when it happens. It is now your turn. Let us see how your God
show
is
what you have been preaching.
So this is why where I put the strength in myself. If it is true you really believe that your creator is there for you, put him to test. And this is where I started trusting in Allah. And Allah started bringing wonders to my life. He never allowed me to suffer an inch since the demise of my husband. Even the little money I earn, plus the shop, what I realized in the shop, I found I'm living a comfortable life. I took the responsibility of my children without any stress. And God is helping me. I never for a day neglected my duty to my God. I will wake up in the night for my tahajjud. I will offer my regular salat as I explained you. I will do all the necessary pillar of Allah. Astaghfirullah, if there are some that I may lack, because I'm a human being, that I am not perfect. So I do my things according to the wish of Allah. Another thing that I engage at, my father-in-law survived a son for 9 years. Every 3 months, I will carry to my father-in-law his food, ranging from rice, amala, elubo, okoro gidi, beans. I will make his pap. I will make those things that Alhaji love. I will now buy a big chicken. He love eating chicken. I will fry everything. I will carry it home every 3 months to my father-in-law. When my father-in-law opened the food items, when it comes to the soup and the fried chicken, Alhaji will smile. And you will fry the chicken with the head and the legs. Even not touching a part of this chicken.
Wow.
So he has a way he kept it under his bed.
Wow.
That at regular time he will be using it, he chew it to relax and everything. He will tell me not to be afraid.
Wow.
Because what you give out will definitely come back to you. Though we lost our mother-in-law, his mother-in-law, 3 years before his own death. So, and Mama will always pray for me. She too, she was an Alhaja. That what you have done to me in this, my husband's house, that you did not even allow me to suffer. You will not suffer. Your children will not suffer. So I believe if you were able to gain the love of our parents-in-law, they will be a support to you when you are in need of them. They did not demand for any unnecessary thing from me, except they will give me all the care. These are what I realize that are missing in the life of our modern widows. Modern widows, when their husbands are alive, they are never friendly with their husbands' people. Most of them, they are hostile. Sometimes you will hear when we are getting married to our husbands, we will be singing a song. I mean the husband's family. Nílé wa, ọkọ ní fọṣọ. That is in our home. Come, we open our eyes, our hands. Come and join us. We will embrace you. Nílé wa, ọkọ ló ń pọn mi. You know, just to slight the usefulness of the husband in order to please the wife. But when you are married, you find out that you don't find the same thing when you get married to your husband people. Some of them may be hostile. But if my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, they were very, very much in support of their son and his family. So they never threw the family of their son away. Like many of our these days in-law who will not embrace the strength and the weaknesses of the wife of their brother or whatever.
So Alhaja, sorry ma, I want to ask a question. At what point do you now feel that you need to establish this organization, Channel for Widow Relief Initiative? What are the things that made you to think that I need to do something for the widows?
When I was in my teaching career, because I was a teacher throughout my teaching career of 35 years. And I was all along, except when I left primary school as a primary school teacher. After my graduation as an NC teacher, I've always been in the secondary school. And my teaching experience has exposed me so much that I am a social person. Even when I was in teachers college, I was made a social prefect. So this social something was in me that I like moving into the society to dwell and bring things that will help me. So I belong to many organizations. Like when I was in the school, I was I told you my profession is home economics. I was the Home Economics Teachers Association of Nigeria, Oyo State chapter, for 2 consecutive terms of 4 years. That is 8 years. I belong to the STAN, the Science Teachers Association of Nigeria, because home economics is a science subject. I'm a Muslim practitioner. I belong to MUTAN, the Muslim Teachers Association of Nigeria. So I never lag behind. And my work as a homemaker has a home economics. Many of my students are very wretched. During their practical years in school, many of them won't have fund to finance their practical in home economics. I cannot count the number of them I have supported. Either by way of bringing material, by way of bringing anything they need to afford them, because most of these our students, they come from poor background. And some of them are from parents that they are one parented or whatever, like a widow or whatever. Those who are not even widows, many of them are poor. I cannot mention when I was a VP, vice principal academics, vice principal admin, a guidance and counselor, HOD. I had different position of authority in school. You know, in the school, in the olden days, many students will not pay their school fees, and the school authority will send them to go and cut grasses. Some of them that are familiar with me, mommy, please now, help us, can you come? And no principal will listen to any student who has not paid, because they run the school with whatever the student paid. Yeah, whatever. So some of them, I will give them, even so, because I am living well okay with my home, with my husband's support. So whatever I have to support them, I will grant it to them. Then I was in the care of the MSS, supervising my Muslim students when they are organizing their MSS day. And these children will fill my home. They will come and cook with my home. I avail them of all things that they will need. And I have vision and supervise them, even to invite. Sometime I've invited the wife of a governor to an MSS in my school because of my position and my affluence then. So I give the glory to Allah. And I've attended many seminars and many sensitizations that have been able to develop myself socially. I think during the time of HIV and AIDS, there were many sensitization programs I've attended. One of them that remain in my memory forever is to abstain from contamination or from contacting HIV and AIDS. Is total abstinence from sex except from your spouse. All these things have been in my principle that have been guiding my life. So when I now lost my husband, I took caution. You should not get yourself involved with any extramoral relationship that can tamper with your wife, with your life, to disturb normal development of these young grade children. Like I told you, when you are referring to a good person, a good man, I want to say that it may not be a perfect man, but he has tried his best for my family. How? He always, not that he is rich, he was not so rich, but he has vision. He knew what he wanted for these children. He would put them in good schools. I remember one day he came back. He said, I want to withdraw my two sons to international school, UI. And I said, people always complain about this international school for their stubbornness and misbehavior. He said, when they give their own education in the school, we do our own bit in the house. So our children will not have problem. He sent them to the school. So when they were in, he said one purpose is the environment and community you put your children. that will determine their future community they will belong to. Because they should have gathered in a community that when they develop later, they still belong to this common community that will be helpful to one another. And today, I want to believe in his vision.
I have two questions.
Okay.
One is that because of single girls who will be watching this program or who are watching this program, you kept saying something that your husband, a perfect gentleman.
No, it was not.
I mean, near perfect gentleman. At least it was good to you and the children, and it was responsible.
Yeah.
Now, what are the things that you looked out for before you agreed? Did you see those things coming? As in when he was talking to you, wooing you.
Yeah.
What were the things that you looked at before you say, okay, I think I can spend the rest of my life with this man?
This, my husband, some of these virtues, I later discovered in him.
Okay.
I started seeing them in him.
Okay.
As a youth. Like I told you.
Okay.
Our families, we are enriched with Islamic culture.
Okay.
That you are satisfied with what God has provided for you. We are not necessarily mean we are rich.
Okay.
But his own father has influence, but not rich.
Okay.
Could you believe that my husband, when he was in the secondary school, he would be sent out of school for school fees for 1 week, 2 weeks.
Okay.
And when he went back, he will become first in the class.
Wow.
He used to be easygoing, very jovial in a moderate way. So when we started, because my father was a imam, as I told you,
okay,
he will be giving me the tips. In our own diet, they call imam limamu.
Okay.
So he will be telling me, playing with me. Limamu, they will be interesting. I will be carried away.
Wow.
Leave me alone. Interesting. He will come back again at that time. So it has a subtle way.
Wow.
So could you believe that when I was even in the school for my grade 2, he would teach me biology sincerely. All these processes of digestion, he would teach me anything that when I go back to school, I would just be pouring it down.
Wow.
So this is somebody like that, unlike the youth we have nowadays, when they are teaching people, they will be doing another thing in the darkness of the room.
So you was not
like that.
So you want to say that you saw spirituality in him?
I saw prospects.
Prospect. Okay, saw prospects.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that he came from
a religious
home,
a respectable parent,
and he was showing responsibilities, even though when you were still both singles, that he would teach you. Okay, now.
And he will even support me with pocket money.
Okay, wow.
In those days, they used to send cards to us in school that at the assembly.
Okay.
They will be reading the name. When you are in boarding school, you are not given total freedom.
Okay.
So I just realized that when I am at assembly, I will be receiving 4 postcards, 5 postcards. Mountoday Akambi. They will be calling me several times to come, and everybody now will be shouting at He really showed the love to me. So there was one he sent one day. There were 2 crocodiles.
Okay.
One is, I think, a female. The other one a male.
Okay.
So the male now stretched its hand on the female.
Okay.
And was giving an expression, I can't live without you. And these postcards, they are open.
Okay.
Even the prefect in charge will read, and he now read it in in the whole assembly.
Wow.
And people became,
Wow.
jealous of me. That what kind of
Yeah.
a person is this person? It really showed that.
So at that point, your heart had been melted.
You are too hard to be ignored.
Wow.
I will never forget the inscription on that card. So all these things really boosted my ego.
And he brought all that into your marriage.
In the life of the marriage. Truly, it really showed.
So there are signals, as in that a man and probably a woman will carry from the time they were dating to the marriage. Like signals in the sense that some of the things that happen during the marriage might have occurred while they were dating. Is it true? People say look for the signals. There are red signals.
They are used to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, why didn't you remarry when you lost it?
Like I told you, my husband was a visionary.
Okay.
Highly cultivated what he wanted the children to become in future, and we never hide it. We will sit together, he will discuss everything, we discuss them together. Okay. So when he now has to leave his duty now, I woke up. This man, I didn't know he was trying to build something in me that I'm going to face the future all alone. Let me cite another example. Okay. When I'm going out, I will ask the driver, because we have 2 cars. Okay. Let the driver help me to start my car. I said, no. I thought he was cruel. Go and start your car. And before you start your car, check everything in the engine. And make sure the water content, the engine oil, everything was intact. I will be already getting almost late. Why is this man doing this to me?
At least
for the driver now to do this thing. Could you believe up to the morning that I'm leaving till today? I will never start my car without checking, going to check the engine. His voice will just echo. So he had plans for his children. I now pity him. Will all this plan be shattered? I said, no. I would deny myself. Wow. Yeah. Let me deny myself. Let me fulfill his mission with these children. And that's how I started. Wow. With the battle. And I just saw, like I said, that God has strengthened me with spirituality in my Salatu inclusion. So I just saw that I'm moving fine with these children. All of them graduated from Ilekeu, with the Quranic school. So they already instilled in them the fear of Allah. So they are not being difficult for me to manage. So when you don't put your child in the way of Allah or in the way of the God you are serving, you may likely have problem. Even to today. Coupled with the fact that you are showing the exemplary leadership at home. The Yoruba will say, so it's not easy to lift a heavy load on your own to the head, except with the mercy of Allah. And Allah really come up and show his mercy to me. So when my children are learning, they always come take good grade in school. Just 3 days ago, one of my children was telling me that he's putting his child in a training in a test. This their test they are arranging for mathematics. He said because he wants him to be exemplary like ourselves. I said it is true. You scored A1. Mommy, you still remember? I said yes. These are the kind of reward that my husband has planted that really gave results in the life of these children. One day, he called my son, my second son, who's my first son, who is my second child.
Okay.
He was in JS2 in
Okay.
ISI.
Okay.
He now gave him one topic.
Hmm.
I can't remember the 3 letters,
Okay.
the 3 words. Common sense, senses, common sense, and
Okay.
clinical. He said it's to compare and contrast.
Hmm.
This boy sat up over the night, wrote the essay. It was at least one foolscap sheet,
Hmm.
front and back, and submitted to the father.
Hmm.
When the father read it, he gave him 4/10.
Hmm.
So he brought it to me to see. Yeah, my son.
Okay.
When I went through the content, I said, my God, myself as a teacher,
Wow.
I can't write this thing. I was confessing to my mind. And I went to my husband in his absence.
Okay.
So, what is it that this boy has not defended in what he has put down? That is what is 4/10. That myself as a teacher, if I see any of my children or my students in school, I may give him 10. Shebi, you are not looking at critical side of everything.
Okay.
I don't want him to be too conscious that is perfect. That is, he still has room for improvement. So things like that, my husband will do just those wonders. One day we traveled to Iwo to see somebody. They were just 2 then.
Yeah.
When we were at Odoba, the river,
Okay.
my husband parked the car
Okay.
before the river. He now went down the river.
Okay.
All of us were looking at him because he would just do surprises, things like that. When he now got down, he now came up again. He held the hand of one and the hand of the other. He was carrying them down the river. So when they got to the when they were, he first invited them to come when he was in the river. Those children, like myself, I have water phobia too. Okay. I may not go. They may take that after me. So they refused to come to meet him there. So he now came up and held them and went into the river. So they stay at the bank of that river. So he now asked, why did I call you to come when you are looking at me there? Don't you trust me? The children were still confused. I think they were about just 7 and 5 years old then. They didn't answer because I myself, I don't know what he meant for doing that. So he now came back with them to the top of the river. The river has a bank there. They were wearing this cortina, fine cortina shoe. They said they should remove the cortina one. So the 2 of them removed the cortina on the top of the river. I said, throw it into the river. Something told me this man is crazy because I know how much he bought that cortina shoe. And they are using this cortina because they wore it to visit her hands in.
I now ask them to throw it inside the river.
So they stared at themselves. They now stared at me, asking me, "Kilo chokoyin?" I can't answer the question too. So he now came back to them. The situation report shows that you love your shoes. Do you? They nod. They nodded. Do you know that I, as your father, love you more than you love your shoes? Do you think I can drown you in the river? When you are looking at me down the river, when I said you should come, I want to build confidence in you. Where you see your father, you are not afraid. You should not be afraid. Now you can't throw your shoe into the river. Never throw my children into the river. He's a philosopher. Sometimes when we are traveling to our Ekiti state, he will stop. He instead of taking the normal route, We have a farm path
Okay.
that led to our village.
Okay.
We would pass through the something. It will now stop over. It will now go and point to them. What is this? If they know it, they will mention. If they don't know it, they will mention. Now say, what you learn in the class. You know the cocoa should have been removed from the pod.
Exactly.
This is the content that carry cocoa as it is made by God. So it will now tell them the process of the growth that they pluck cocoa on the top of the tree. So you know all the farm yard and the farm belong to their family. He will have taken excuse from one of them. He will now uproot one yam and show to my children. This is yam. Yeah. It is uprooted from the soil.
Not that it is plucked from the tree.
It will show them practical life. This is a man that I had married and had greatly influenced my own life. That how do I now want to allow these children to live without the culture,
the core values,
the core values of their father? I will now call my God, please help me to build these children where their father has left them. So that now is helping me to even erase my own personal emotions. My cries, I will hide it. I won't allow them to see me. I always show them that I'm a strong person. So that they can, children, they may not have confidence in you if they feel you are not strong. So I will show them strength. I will make provision. Another incident, my second son, who is the third born, came back from school. He was now then in the University of Ilorin.
Okay.
So he now came home. He said, Mommy, can we eat pounded yam? When he mentioned pounded yam, I felt sad. Pounded yam. I said, when I look up, water rolled down my eyes. Because my husband's favorite is pounded yam. If I go to Asalatu, if I'm late, I will not come back through the front door. I will come back through the back door. I should have cut my yam small.
Okay.
I should have washed my mortar and pestle.
Okay.
When I'm washing it, I will be using it to beat one another. Because when he hears that it's going to be pounded yam, I will now peep through the back door. I will now greet him. The next few minutes, pounded yam is ready. Just put it before him. I will now sit down. I will break down. That's my day's activity to him. And we will sit up and discuss what has expired, what has transpired in the day. So all these things, we build good relationship with us to be able to know our movements that have known. He knew, even when I need letters to advocate for whatever we need in Asalatu, he will help me to draft letters and do all these things to support me. So this has been our lifestyle. So that boy who asked the question, and the water rolled down my eyes, said I couldn't open my eyes to defend his question. He now put his hands around me. Mommy, how long are we going to live like this? Daddy will be happy wherever he is if he sees you giving us what you used to give to him. And one of them is pounded yam. Give us pounded yam. Because my mentality cannot stand that. The sound of beating pounded yam in my home is not going to be eaten by my husband. So when he helped me to wipe I cry. So I quickly went to the kitchen. Fortunately, I already know he was coming. I had good soup. I then went to my store, which I have never, after the death of my husband, laid table. I've never laid table when my husband died. So I just put mats, put everything, went to the store, bring out 2 dishes. I put the pounded yam in one big dish, stew in one, and one in the other. Put flat plate, cup, napkin, and everything, the way I used to do. I now ask him to sit down on the high table. My son just sat down. I had the best mother in the world.
That was your second child, your first son.
Yes,
okay.
That was the remark he made. I have the best mother in the world. My mind lifted. I was so happy that if I've been allowing my children to miss because we have lost somebody. So today, if you see the marvelous things these children do in my life, you'll be thanking God.
Ma'am, let's quickly talk about them. Well, the reason is because you talk about the core values, like your husband that kind of tilled the ground for you, instilled discipline and core values, and he left, and you took it up.
Yes.
Some people will say that it's not possible for a woman to single-handedly take care of children, and those children will be of good behavior and make it in life.
Those people who do not have God. I've told you, I've built my faith in Allah. That is, He has given me the husband, and He has allowed me to spend the useful time together with Him. So the remaining, I should face it. And what the love we have built together, the closeness, the togetherness. It's not that we don't quarrel. We do. Like when he was sick, 3 days to the time he was going to die.
Okay.
I was in our bedroom. I just saw the toilets clean, the floor clean, the everything in the toilet. My husband doesn't know how to keep toilets. Because he believes he has a wife who will perfect whatever mess or whatever he has done, does there. This thing is too perfect for me, God. I just knelt down in the bedroom toilet and cry out, God, please let my husband come back home. I will never complain about this toilet again. But it was too late. 3rd day, my husband left us.
Wow.
So all those things have been my strength to build me. When he finally left,
You mean when he died?
When he died,
Okay.
It was a Sunday morning. That Sunday, I was meant to relax. 2 of our relation who used to be with us was to go and serve his breakfast. After my salat, I've prepared this kidney. So before 7 o'clock, they have taken the meal to the hospital. So usually on Sunday like that, I will use the early morning to relax because I am always full. For the 2 months, it was hell for me. So they went to the hospital. So around 7:38, I was called. So when I lifted my head and saw the call of one of them, my heart beat. Why should they be calling me? He said, Mommy, I should come to the hospital. What is it? So before I could even answer, one of them was already coming home. So he was already climbing up to come and meet me in my room. Mommy, we have lost Daddy. So my youngest daughter, he cried. He wanted to jump from the stair down. I heard him. Something told me that you have another battle to face.
Yeah.
How are these children going to react to this thing?
Mm.
So some things, some questions quickly came to my mind. I said, one, in our discussion, my husband as a good Muslim, when he saw the burial of a Muslim,
Okay.
that is later than the usual time prescribed by the Quran, he will object to it. He loved to be buried on the same day. And this is early enough on Sunday morning. I now pick my daughter, please, let me obey the rules of your daddy. Let me see what I can do to effect what he wanted. Though he didn't tell us he was leaving, but he has already been saying this. So I quickly pacified them. I now assigned duties. My first son, oh yeah, take his phone, be calling his family, call home, so that they can be digging the grave and everything. So you be contacting people around us. So we started. I made the arrangement.
At that grieving moment, you are still organizing things.
I never allow a drop of tears. It's not a thing I expect. But something just flashed my mind. Obey your husband needs. So I just put a jalamia on. Do you know I didn't wear a pants? I went into the wardrobe because one thing, God was merciful to us. His friends, relations, bring money, bring things. I just go into the wardrobe, carry some money, put in my pocket. Because Sunday, you say don't discharge.
Okay.
On Sunday.
Okay.
So I have to meet up with some of his friends who are doctors.
Okay.
Who have part-time something usage.
Okay.
So I jump into the car. I didn't even know how I drove to our mosque at Bodija Estate and Environment Muslim Community. Coincidentally, that day was our supplication day. All our members have assembled in the mosque, supplicating. So I now see one of our fathers, because we have elderly people among them. I beckon to her. Papa just staggered because they all knew my husband was sick. But he said he was thinking, Tayo will not die today to be coming around to come and tell us. But that's the fact. Baba, Tayo is gone. Baba just fell down. So all other Babas, yes, they now rally around him to carry him up. I said, please meet me in the usage. I just turned the car. In fact, by the time I get to the compound of usage, the congregation of my mosque, they are right there behind me. I moved to the ward. The matron there, we became friends when my husband was sick. He said, Alhaja, you can still come to this ward. This ward, the ward where my husband died. I said, what do you want me to do? Visit my husband. He said, he have told the wards not to put your husband in mortuary because you don't like it. They put it just like the way of the mortuary. So they now help me with contacting people who can help to release his corpse. You know, if we are indebted, I've carried, I don't know how I should remember all those things. Carried all reports that will help us to get his corpse released. So that was how all this thing really happened. But I had premonition about his death. The one I told you about the bathroom is one. Another one, I was coming up because by 10 o'clock every night, we'll be moving. So he was asking one of his sons not to go. So I said, let's go, because it's not good for us to be walking in the darkness. So I was moving. So I waited for the, what do you call it, elevator to come. It didn't come. I started moving towards the stairs.
Okay.
By the time I got down to the second floor, because it's third floor, I just saw a corpse laid on the stretcher without anybody on that corpse. I just took my run again. My children said, what is it? What is it, mommy? I don't want to frighten them. So we have to trek back. By the time we got to the place, we didn't see the corpse again.
Wow.
I was shivering. So we just went back home that night. So when we got home around, say, 10:30, 11, I still took my time to wake up in the night and start begging my God, don't allow this thing to happen to me. You know, I'm still young. These children will need their father. They will do all these things. But when the destiny have been written and closed, what can you do? So the end of a man is not the end of the world. So I just took that faith again and started to continue with the life of these children. From that, I quickly arranged with my mosque that, please, on this grant, because I saw everybody around me, the elders in our mosque, they are pious. Please help me to give the last ritual bath, dress him up. I arranged for the ambulance. I paid. I did everything without even interference of his own other siblings who were coming. They didn't know how I got all this strength to do all these things. I was just trying to ensure that my children are in control. They are not, because they really, really love their father. One day, when one of my children was celebrating his the last birthday at 48, she told me, Mommy, the kind of father we had, we really miss him. Could you believe while I was in a federal government college, Oyo, there was never a day that my daddy and you will not give us a visit, a visiting day.
Wow.
Their visiting day is another anniversary. We will cook rice, bring provision, do everything. It will align them with a supervisor. There used to be a teacher there that we really trust, who will help us to look after them. We pack his own incentive too to those people. Only many of my mates, some of them may not even have people to visit them, only but not daddy and you. You will be there. And it's the spirit of daddy that when he's going, you are bound to follow him.
Sure.
So he has done many things in the life of these children that they really, really entrusted him with many things in their life. I did not want to disappoint him.
Okay. Now, before we go to your organization,
okay,
I want you to briefly, I asked earlier about the children. I mean, where are they? Are they in Nigeria?
They are in the world, doing good.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 4 of them have graduated as career people.
Wow.
My first daughter is an accountant.
The one that loves mathematics.
Yes.
Okay.
The second one is an electrical engineer. So it was after the demise of his dad that God used us to complete his education. The third one is a lawyer.
Wow.
And the fourth one is a doctor. I always ask this question. If Fodhila Omotunde can be so supported by her God, the God who has trapped her and denied her of her husband, and still bless her with the wisdom to stand by these children, to give them the support they need. I'm not talking about financial support because I didn't have much, but my children are solid that will manage with whatever I'm able to provide. They are that type of children. So this is now my my support to my widows. What God has done for me. If you stand by him, irrespective of your religion, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, just hold on to the faith you believe in. It will support you. It will support your children. And your children will respect you. The second son, when he was growing, after about few times the father died, he said, "Mommy, are you not going to remarry again?" Because they have good background of religion. Are you not going to remarry? I said, I look at his face. He looked back into my eyes. I now said, I will. Have you found somebody? I said, I still look into his eyes. I said, yes. The question mark now, because I'm not sure if he really want to hear that I had
another man.
Because he doesn't know how somebody will come and he didn't say all those things.
Okay, but you could see the expression.
Yes, the expression. He said, who is the person? I said, I believe in you, my children, that if you are successful, that you may replace my need that my husband could not fulfill. I just see this relief coming down his eyes to his body. He now put his two arms on my shoulder. Wow. I said, "Mommy, are you serious?" I said, "Do you want me to leave the four of you? What exactly do you want me to come and derive from that man? Please tell me." No, he said, you have the right to oblige to Islamic obligation, that you can remarry. I said on proviso that if I cannot stand. So if I decided not to meet with another man, if I am not, what do you call it? If I am not, if I'm not, how do I describe it? Corrupt me.
Okay. I'm not promiscuous. Yeah.
So I think I can. I can. I want to see you through the foundation your daddy laid, so that anytime he looks back, he will be proud of us. When I told you the first girl, she graduated, even got her employment at the bank then. Okay. So the second one now, immediately after his graduation, he got very good pass. Wow. Merit. Wow. And he was employed right away without knowing anybody. Without knowing anybody, but knew God. And that was what really happened throughout their life. As people are crying, their children can't get job, it is not any of my children. Because I don't know anybody to go and run to. But I know the Almighty Allah, who helped me, who has been helping me to supervise them. So if any widow can just trust in God and put yourself in the right shape, I think that this is part of the reason why I could not graduate in my earlier BSc. If I've been a BSc science something, I've been in a better position. Do you think I could be so obedient to my husband, where I have to depend? I saw the time I was telling you after grade 2 or even NCE that my salary was not more than £2. But my husband was so supportive. He will fill his house with food. He will buy his children's clothes. So I need myself for myself.
Hmm.
So I may not need more than I need.
Hmm.
So this is me, where I see that many men. Now, I don't know whether he actually knew he was going to die,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure he wanted to die because he had many plans, many plans that nobody will ever think he wanted to die.
Hmm.
So if it now happens and a man is living with his wife, he didn't prepare that wife, whether the husband or the wife dies, what is going to be the fate of their children? So this is where the current and present situation in Nigeria calls for men, before they die, to be affectionate to their wives, to be supportive to their wives when they were still together, to allow a demarcation between themselves and their family. They have right to be good to their family, but don't allow family interference into your home. Many men, they are already blinded by the wish of their family. This is how you should do it. This is how you should do it. Are you a man? If you are a man, you should draw a line. When it is your matrimonial home, let it be here. When it is your family home, let it be here. Supply each of them with their need without allowing one to tamper with the other.
Yeah.
This is how a man can be reasonable. Many of my men, because of their selfishness, they are not reasonable.
You mean men?
Men. I can still remember when one of the last born of their family, the Alhaji that I'm saying, is a Muslim. He had 4 wives.
Okay.
The last born was living with us.
Okay.
He now misbehaved. He really misbehaved terribly. So, it's her fault.
Okay.
He now ran home. And my husband was coming home the next weekend.
Okay.
So, my father now, when the girl saw my father in their home, he quickly ran away.
Okay.
So my father-in-law now called my husband. Ikpe, you didn't even ask of your girl that has left home in the 1 week. He now asked Baba, did he tell you that he informed me before he ran away? He said he did it. So he was trying to, because Alhaji was very intelligent, he was trying to ask questions from his son. I said, when I don't know what he has done, so how do you want me to answer? He now begged him to please forgive. He said, how can I forgive somebody who has not offended me? He now begged him that, please, when you are going back, you will carry him back home. He said, Alhaji, I won't refuse anything for you. But this one, I have a commitment in another town. Even if I don't have that commitment, I will not carry him back home. My husband came back home without bringing that girl home. So when the girl now finally came back on her own, maybe her parents sponsor her trip back. So he now went to my friend's house to go and plead with them to beg me so that I will allow her to come inside. What he does was terrible. It's not something I can be describing or relating in the air.
Yeah.
So he was sober because he was the one who misbehaved. So because you are a buroko, so you want us to idolize you? No, as I will not take that. And when it now came back, I said, there's no problem. Let him come inside. He now came. Then they renewed this relationship. And that's how we started very well again.
So what you're trying to say is that a man should be able to protect his wife.
in the right perspective when it comes to management between him
And
his family. Many men don't do it now. And many of us women too,
Okay.
we are very wicked. Because the type of son they have, who make provision for his home, because their daughter, who is married to another place, don't enjoy such. They will not say reason why the wife of their own son should take such benefits. Ṣorí kan náà gbé wáyé ni. Oníkálùkù borí tiẹ̀ wáyé. So if they are close, like I said, that when they were bringing this wife in, nílé wa ọkọ ló ń fọṣọ, ọkọ ló ń pọn mi. When it now comes to interference, they now want to see him. Even when the husband die, they will torture her. They will do everything humanly possible to frustrate her. This is very bad. And when they claim that the wife killed the husband, the man, even if you are fighting every day, I can't see any how a woman will decide, as a full liar, if I am mistaken, if it is true that some women don't do this, God will punish such women on their own volition. So this is where I want to believe that let husband take a stand, make his will as early 45, 50 for what he wants for his family. Because many wives will be thrown out of the husband's house after the demise of the husband. That they cannot take away. When they lose their son, they can't lose his property. Sure. Have they forgot? It's not sure. That those things belong, even from the Islamic inheritance portion. The rightful owner of those things should come first with the children. The wife, they are the first, second-class beneficiaries of those things. Though the mother, the father may have part of this. We have our culture, Islamic culture, and the Christian culture too. They have ways. And men should be opened. Many of them are unfaithful. That when they die, those of them who have concubines outside, who have children or what's not, they cause trouble. So when the Muslims say, if you can, marry 2, 3, 4. But if you cannot, marry just one. So it's left to you to know which one can be more befitting to you. And for you to have a wife and girlfriends is forbidden by Allah. You can't have concubine. It's forbidden. You must be legally married to your wife or wives. And each of the wives being legally married to have the same rights in the properties of their husbands. That is how it is. So these days, most wives, orphans, suffer from the hand of immediate family. What about the society they belong to? Churches, mosques, they become scones. If 2, 3 people are talking together and the widow is approaching, you just see them disband. Because that husband snatcher is coming. They have stigmatized widows in the society. They make them as if they are not worthy to live this life. This is widowhood can be another person's turn tomorrow. At any given time. At any time. So what you do to them today, maybe your turn tomorrow. Women should buck up. I love you. Tori torun. When it is the time to face reality of life, when you already have your wife or your husband, have your second husband, which is your handiwork. If you don't have something to do to support your husband, you become an appendage. to him. And when anything should happen to him, it becomes your headache. I think women, we should sit up. Why men too? They sit up. Family, marriage is an institution that is sacred. The empire of marriage is God. He washes what is operating between the two of them. Just like a field where you have footballers, God is the referee in marriage. He will whistle when you do good, he will whistle when you do bad. And we are all coming back to him to come and relate how we have spent our earthly lives. So if you do it well, good. If you mismanage marriage, you allow children to go miscreants, to cause trouble in the community. The Quran even warned us that many parents will perform duties that will merit their going into Aljanna. But if they fail in the upbringing of their children, the children will pull their legs back. These are the things the society should be more concerned about. They should put more investments in their children's progress. Charity begins at home. Home is the basic place that will determine the future of any child. If the failure to inculcate the home love, environment, good living, good feeding. When I was a home economics teacher, my children, when they are going to school, they carry yogurt only toto bi báyìí. I buy them, put them in the freezer every morning. They carry to school because all those things, they help to nourish the brain. And when my children are growing, I ensure they eat 1 egg a day. You rarely see them sick. We eat vegetables, oranges, vegetables in general, fruits. Give them water. Many children, they lack basic things. Their brains will not develop. And when brains don't develop, they become dullard. How many brains are developed and become useless? That once they form, what do you call it? Team with miscreants, with in schools, it permits a lot of courtesy and all these things. Instead for parents to divert the senses of their children towards good development and growth, their mentality will be diverted to nonsense and bad behavior. That is why you are seeing many of youths nowadays, even those who have the two parents, they have become Yahoo, they have become all this nonsense. The fear of Allah is no more there. It's only Allah who has said is the custodian of the wealth of the universe. And he gives it to whomever he loves or he wants or he wishes. So if you think you can take something by force, you will be repaid in a way that you will not like. So God has reward and punishment for whatever human being do. So once you find yourself in the position of widowhood, don't see it as a position that ayé ti gbà mí, mo lè dọ́kọ. If you are doing all those things, those children are looking at you. They are watching you. Àwọn gan do into the ọpọlọ. They will disappoint you. They will disgrace you. By the time you know it, you won't even know what should be your next something.
Ma'am, I want you to talk about your, let me say, pet project, which is Channel Relief.
Channel for Relief Initiative.
How far What has been the challenges? Then
The challenges have been numerous.
where exactly are you going with it?
It's only God who started it can tell me where I am going. Like I told you, my passion started when I was mixing with the society I belong. When I was in my career as a teacher, when I was meeting students who are less privileged, their needs. Many of our students will go to school without sandals, with tattered shoes, with unbuttoned clothes. All those things, when you call them as a counselor, you interview them, you discover many of them are orphan. Many of them, they have their stepmother living with them. They will first go and sell in the morning before coming to school. This is where I started this developing my passion. Even I taught in a school that the woman lost her husband. When she lost her husband, this woman became a nuisance in the school community because he was flirting with one man and another at different times, trying to fulfill what she felt she was missing. So I was trying to say something the other time that the sexual relationship in a marriage is indeed very pleasant to hold the love together. But it is not the only weapon to hold marriage together. I told you, we have been told at a sensitization of a HIV program I attended that if you don't have sex, it doesn't kill you. And I want to believe it. If you can restrain yourself, it will not be killed. I have seen many of my widows that will come and confide in me that, Mommy, but they said if you don't have sex, it will be causing you. It is a lie. I never had such thing. I never had such thing. And even in Islam, do you know what Islam says about sexual relationship? If you want to totally abstain, you should not do anything to sensitize yourself. You know, some people will use some other trick. You know, the artificial.
Sure, exactly. All these.
Why? Even in the secondary school, we heard of girls in the boarding house using candle,
boiling ring.
No. If you are doing that, it's still promiscuity. You can't. It's when you have given your total body to your God, and God will take perfect control of it. Without you even feeling that kind of thing. So the idea of sex, we try to disabuse from the mind of people. If you know you cannot contain it, go and get married. Do you know from the other side I come from Para State to the north, even if you are of my age, you are still allowed to be married, to be under a man. That is what Islam says. But when you look around, you know, some men, they are interested in sharing what your husband has left behind. It's not because of you. They want to take part of it to train their own children. And that should not be the case. If any man feels that a woman who has, because we have many of our widows who have 5 children or more that are still young, if you are really pitiful of her situation, you should inherit what the husband left that he could not fulfill. You should be helping her. Adopt those children as your own children and start taking good care. Show fatherly love to them. That is when God will compensate you for your effort to want to have any relationship with a widow. But if it is solely for sexual relationship and some other interior motive you have that nobody has, you'll be punished. Such men will be punished severely for this act. This is where women too should learn. I know many of my women who will come to me. This is the situation. Many of them will be mocked up in the community with their wives. They will beat the widow for going nearer their husband. Why should women do this? Tomorrow it can be your turn. I beg. God has given the permission. If any man want to marry three or four, let them. If your husband is what? Is one. First, Islam told us that you don't even know whether the wife will bring more prosperity to your home than when he was alone with you. Even though when I ask the question about myself, if your husband attempted it, will you have agreed with him? I said, experience is the best teacher.
Honestly.
I'm very sorry. If one day you can come back and let's live another life, maybe you should try me. So
that's good. Yeah.
So now all these things put together have put me, increased my passion. That when I retire, which I did after 35 years of meritorious services, till date I'm on my pension, and I receive my gratuity, which I have used to develop my life as a teacher. So I feel happy. So I now have more relief with little pension here, 1, here, 2, here, 3, here, 4. You understand?
I understand.
Okay. So Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So now.
So you are now talking about how I move on with this thing.
Okay.
By the time I graduated, retired in 2011, July, I was computer illiterate.
Okay.
I just first employed a computer man who will be coming home from that time till December to come and teach me how to operate. They will put us on computer in our computer class in the university where we have about 200 students in the class.
Okay.
So what do they want us to learn? We don't learn one computer machine. So we didn't know much about computer then. So we don't know what it operates now, whether it's the same. Because if Nigeria should continue in this way, that is why we have fear for the future. We want to implore the government to please furnish school system with equipment that can give the education that our youth need for total development of the country in the nearest future. So back to how I'm faring with my widowhood outfit. So by November 2011, I started writing my profile. So put things together to tell the world why I want to go into this non-governmental organization. So I put everything together, my details, my needs, my everything. So I started mobilizing for different communities, because my widowhood outfit is not for Muslim alone. Because it's not only Muslim that are go with this trouble. We have all type of people, religion, tribes. We have them with about going to 600 widows registered all over, and about 250 of their orphan children, which are now catered for, not on the same platform at a go, but at different times. So we have difficulties or challenges facing us. Because at start, my board of directors decided that we should have an empowerment center. That is the empowerment you see there. We raised funds. We were able to equip the place with sewing machine. Both the different types, including a monogram machine. So the monogram machine was being used to train youth for graphic arts and teach them computers. But along the line, what we discover is that even some of these youth feels they are wasting time.
Mm.
Maybe this Yahoo thing has started coming in that they can make better money and all this thing, rather than sitting up here wasting their time on this kind of thing. So at the same time, the sewing started. We even align with other government top parastatals and whatever who help us, who join us, who direct, like a national directorate of employment.
Okay.
They send people here for training and all these things. But you know, unfortunate thing, after we train those their students, they will be paying these students on monthly basis of 2,000, which was not
2,000 naira.
2,000 on monthly basis, and they won't even pay it on monthly basis. They will lump it up until after their expiration of 6 months course. And after the training, they don't support the organization. Because we employ 2 teachers who train these people. And what used to be in operation in the long time, after training, they will give them sewing equipment. For a day, throughout the time we were dealing with them, they didn't supply us. So I just felt we are just wasting our time. So when it is about graduation, we now advocate for support from people outside who will rally around us, because many people were very appreciative of what we are doing, and they will grant to us sewing machine and some other equipment to graduate with, to go and settle down. So by the time we had the COVID-19, when everything was almost locked down, our department too was locked down then. For about 6 months, we didn't even see a soul to come, because they have already been complaining of transportation money, that the organization should be sponsoring their transportation. This is we will advocate near and far to help us equip you. So when we now went back to them that this is the complaint of our trainees, they said, yo, so in their own time that they used to trek miles to their schools now, if they can't get transportation, they should trek. But this people, you know, modernity has made everybody to become so lazy. They can't trek, they can't do anything. So since then, after the COVID, we managed for another 1 session. But presently, if you see the place is empty. And we have equipment there which can train. We were even imploring our politicians, especially those who are in our constituency, to please.
What constituency are you?
We are in Ido local government. Who can help us to maybe reactivate or reorientate the organization by even include many equipment like computer machine that can bring in diversified knowledge to help this youth and discourage them from this kind of riding, what do they ride? Okada and all these things. All those things will make them to form another group in the motor parks and make them to become nuisance. So this thing is not helping the family, it's not helping the society. This is where they are growing to become tough heart people, that they are not controllable by their parents. One of my widow came here one day. She was lamenting how terrible a son has become. That she will never, he will not, is a man, is a boy, youth, that he already has his own lifestyle, that nobody can interfere. I said, do you say it's your son? He said, Alhaja is my son. And she was weeping. Their father had died. So many of them, they are no more in control. of their children, which is very bad. All those opportunities that avail us when we were younger, that the leaders in the country made available to the less privileged. Because I've told you earlier on, I didn't come from a very rich family, but we took advantage of this free education, this free education, that, and here we are today. So what the community, the society gave to us, we are giving it back
to the society.
So if anybody can think that whatever he has must be given back to the same society with devout mind, faithfulness, and consciousness,
society will be better off.
The entire society will be a better society. So through our interaction and counseling with our widows, we discovered that many of them, through the trauma that befell them, they already have this psychological problem. Many of them will reveal to you that they don't sleep in the night. They don't sleep over the night because they will be thinking, when their children, some of them have 5 children, when they are going to school, they will start from where to get transportation money. They will be thinking of what breakfast. They will be thinking of what. So at the time, you just find the whole street filled up with hawkers. If you interview most of these hawkers, they are the children of the widows. Because the widows have to make provision. Unlock by winking, buy on credit, put on the child head, go and sell. So whatever profit they made in the night is what they will use to make their dinner. The same thing will be repeating itself every day. And a child who is on the streets, how on earth can that child meet up with the mentality of schoolwork? He cannot. He cannot. Even the brain needs to be settled, even when they have normal school system timetable. But these days, they will be ganging up wherever they are, selling this thing or selling that. Many times when I see some of these, I saw one of them selling plantain chips. I just saw that he already opened one and he was eating. When he gets back, he should have built a lie that will protect him, how to defend for the one he's eating. My mind was just thinking about that. These are the children we have. Somebody was telling me yesterday that a child does not, whose parent does not feed when he was leaving home in the morning, but he will be given 100 naira. The guy will go and buy 1 pure water and 1 biscuit. That is what he will eat when he's going to school. 1 pure water, sachet water,
1 biscuit,
and 1 biscuit. Do you know the quality and quantity of biscuit now has reduced minimally?
Exactly.
So, but do you want the woman to go and steal? So this is what people are facing. So such women, they already have mental issues. That if we test, we have all the test equipment here. We test them. We have a medical doctor who is on call at the end of every month. A usage matron who retire from matron who come. All these people, they give us free services. They are our volunteers. So we take, and when we advocate for support from our donor, some of them will give us money to buy drugs. So we used to have free drugs that we give to them when the doctors prescribe drugs for them. So all these things affect these women that they are no longer balanced. So any offer they have from anybody so make
ends meet. To make ends meet.
The ends meet, they succumb. And some of them, through that, I can remember one time that we were testing them on HIV.
Wow.
We have up to about 5 of our widows who are infected with HIV AIDS.
Wow.
So when you are now asked them to go to the hospital, they said they can't go to the hospital. Some of them who go, They will tell you they don't have money to go and take their monthly drug from the hospital. So we face a lot of things. And when they get the family, they hide this thing from their family. So any family that has close contact with their blood may be infected. So, and they don't bloody care, because it's not only them that God has caused, created to suffer. Let some other people
let the
suffer.
suffering
Spread. Let it spread. So these are the attitude of some of wicked ones. So no matter how sensitization you give them, it runs through the back of their eyes. So I think during the time we invited head clinic for field work who come here to come and examine them. The one we did last, I think 2022, cervical cancer. 5 people too were infected. Though they said their level was still low. So they quickly referred them to the hospital and they were cured. So if we don't circumvent such situation, we'll be having more spread of illnesses that may not be curable. And they don't even have the facility, the financial strength to bear the consequences. So these are what is actually happening, that we look to seek for people. And sometimes we seek from other hospitals. They will come here, like eye test. They will come and do eye test. The funniest thing, or the one that is not funny, 2 people were identified to have cataracts. And another 2, I think, glaucoma. Could you believe, when we contacted the hospital that is doing this thing at a very low charges, so we consulted with some of our donors to come and help us. So the hospital charged us 20,000 or so to operate. Hey, these women, they ran away. They said they cannot face surgery. I said, if you are a believer, go to your mosque, go to your church, go and pray now, if that is what you believe in. If you pray, God will circumvent now and use his hand, that the doctor will be successful on your eyes. He said, if it's not successful, they will die. I said, you know, sometimes ignorance is killing more than anything. So some of them, they are more interested, because we always look for food relief for them at different festivals, like during Ramadan. You know, Muslims, they give plenty of food to us during Ramadan. Some of them will support us with money. You go and buy food and give to these people, because they believe in solving the problem of the less privileges, that they will have reward for whatever they do. So food support is one of our core values here.
Core programs.
That at regular time we give food support during Ileya, during Ramadan, during Christmas. No, not Christmas, New Year. And which is another date. I think we have 4 during the International Widows Day, because we celebrate our International Widows Day here every year, June 23rd. So we used to give out food. Then we used to have food reserve at every month that we offer health services. We ensure that we invite widows in bits, depending on what we have on hand. At least we have sufficient drug to go around about 30 of them. Then we always make provision for food, because if you invite them for the care alone with free health services, they will not come. So we have to ensure we make provision for rice and garri. At least if it is depending on the quantity we have, We will make available 1 Congo of rice and garri. At least that will take them some time. So this is how we rotate among the number of widows we have on our enrollment.
Okay.
So that, but we know that if we have more support, more hand, that's our monogram machine.
Okay.
That is giving us headache for the training.
Okay.
We can be using it.
Okay.
To continue to teach.
What was the monogram machine meant for?
It's meant for designing.
Okay.
Yeah, for designing clothes.
Okay.
People in fashion now.
Okay.
There used to be this what do you call it? 21 something. 20U.
Okay.
We have the machine here too.
Okay.
So the design under that machine could be made easily and faster.
Wow.
With the monogram machine.
Okay.
And the monogram machine can design school uniform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The uniform, the logo for the school uniform can be designed with it.
Okay.
The sport wear and many of those things can be designed with them.
Wow.
And if any reasonable youth
can
take employment or take training to know all these things, you know, they can be employed in the service because people around us too have monogram machine. They are looking for monogram operator. That they can be paid, but the unfortunate thing is that they don't want small money again. So we don't know what to do, but we have to offer what is available to us.
Sure.
So if it is not enough for them, then good luck to them. So that is it. So there are mothers who are widows. Many of them don't have anything doing. If you recall what I told you about my life with my husband, we have always been together. And my husband has been the monitor or the what do you call it? The head of my own family. That I take as dictate. That we join hands together to build the home. The husband nowadays, they are not the same. Some of them, if their wife want to do something, they will say, no, you can't go and do it. Because they have found many women on the streets who are corrupt. So they don't want their wife to be corrupt. Can't we have some sense of trust a little bit in our wife? You're asking me about my background with my husband. So people don't look at the way they started. Whether it's somebody you can trust in future before you go into contract of marriage with such people. So I think people around us should try and have this trust something in their partner. So that even if one of them cannot or discontinue, the other will be able to continue with what they left behind. And if they write their will, they will be able to use it to fund the home. And the family in the society should please let it be. If you look at my husband, my father-in-law, what he has done to the life of my children and myself, that it is now profitable to them. Last Ileya, I travel home. I spent 2 weeks in my own in-law place. Do you think if we are not in good harmony, can I go back to their family house? Let everybody be free. And if you have too many things stuck in your mind, you won't trust anybody.
Exactly.
So what my husband did when he was alive, I continue to do it in my husband's house, and they all love me for coming around there. Even if my children are not around, I will represent them there to ensure that I do what my husband was doing and that he has continued. So the society is so bad. And even women, some of them are naturally corrupt. That the moment they lose their husband, the next thing is promiscuity, which should not be the case. So they should please, even if you have only 2 issues, it's enough for you to look after. You don't know what those 2 issues can become in future.
So lastly, what advice do you have for widows? How can they navigate this kind of economic challenges that the country is going through right now?
Do you know that if I'm telling you that I have any advice for them, I'm telling a lie.
Hmm.
Could you believe that when we open some avenues, even for widows, to empower them with sustainability, they prefer muwa, that they are insatiable. It should not be so. Yeah. Even when you have been receiving something, give out too. Life itself is give and take. So that is it. Some of them, when we give them loan, they default. They will not repay, which is very bad. So they are not committed. I don't know how many people's loan we have to repay. The organization, we have to repay. So what do you do to such people? And where I have fear, when I see that some things that these my widows do to me, I can't run away from them. And I run away because God has made you to face this job. People don't repent. If they sin, if you realize it, go back to your God.
Ask for forgiveness.
Quickly recapitulate on what you have done. Then seek for his forgiveness. Could you believe Allah forgive him?
Sure.
He can forgive anybody at any time. So widows, there is no exemption. Many of us, we dip into sins and some other things. So we have to sit up. You don't need people to tell you, don't go to see free again. Don't go to see free for channel for widow relief for your support again. Be contented with the little they have been able to offer you. Stay back. Let new people
can
come
benefit.
in to benefit. I think that is how life should be allowed to continue. When I started this job, I retired at the age of 60. I'm over 70 now.
Wow.
So they should allow me to have some breathing space too. So, but though I'm not tired though. I'm not tired. Recently we acquired a piece of land.
Okay.
Which I wanted this widow to be able to fetch, work and sustain there. Last week, you won't believe, I went for a training at 9 Hots to train on how to do agriculture on this new technology of greenhouse. We just completed the training last week. We already have the land ready. A donor, a merciful donor, has done a borehole there for us because we want to practice irrigation farming.
System of farming. Okay.
Yeah. So the package for the greenhouse, when we estimate everything, is about 12 million.
Okay.
I've been calling on people to come and support us, but till now, but I trust in God. I know
people they are watching now. I'm very sure.
Who has been doing lots in the life of this to sustain this organization.
Yeah.
We pay house rent. Some people, some God-fearing people, when they have assets they don't need, they can be truth for welfareism of the less privileged. Please, people out there, come and rescue us. We need your support. If you do so, if you have a house you don't use, be true to the need of these less privileges, so that our work will continue. We have a good able hands who support me in this organization. We pay salary, we do house rent, we pay NEPA bill, we do all these things, and we have never been in deficit. We have been running it at our own moderate beginning, and we are doing very well. May Allah continue to help us. Amen. But we are crying to people. We want to thank those people, our donors, who have been persistently supporting this organization to date, to help it to grow to this extent, because we feel happy. Could you believe that anywhere in the nearby environment, my name is known, the organization is known, but we want it to be better known for its what it can do more for the society.
Thank you very much, ma. Lastly, ma, I wanted you to put out a phone number that anyone who God has touched through your, what I will call a ministration in quotes.
Okay.
They might want to call, probably to ask questions, to make inquiries, and to support.
Yeah. Our phone number is 08023517920.
Okay. It's again now.
Yeah. 08023517920.
Thank you very much, ma, for having you in this program.
You are most welcome.